Hello, I'm Felicia Vereen, always known as Fee.
Hey, Fee, and I'm your girl, Sharita 3, better known as Fred.
And we are Inspire Her, the Total Woman podcast, all about uplifting you.
Yes.
Because friends, face it, you are awesome.
We'll be chatting up about topics we love to talk about. All the things we as women must juggle every day and the ish we complain about. But who's listening? Girl,
we'll chat about the struggle, the job, and about him. You know who we talking about.
Girl.
That boo, husband, boyfriend, ex, whatever you calling them today. Our lovely hellions, kids.
Our angels. But seriously, friends, life happens, and we don't always get a chance to talk about it. We take it on the chin and we keep it moving.
Because that's what we were told to do.
Yep.
But here on Inspire Her, the Total Woman podcast with Red and Fee, we are the friends you love to hang out with. We are here to inspire her, the Total Woman.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm...
Hey.
Hey. Well, there you are.
I finally got there. How are y'all?
Hi, good to you.
Are good.
You.
I first want to say hello to everybody out there, but I also want to say I am sorry to hear your news.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And we'll allow you to talk about it if you want to talk about it later. But I just want to, I just want to say I'm sorry, but we know it's a better place.
Yes, ma'am. Of course. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, Ray. What's going on?
Nothing. How was your birthday?
Girl, my birthday is I always have a great, November is like the best month out of the year for those who don't know it. It's like the best. I mean, come on now. You get to be with family and friends and be thankful and eat a lot and enjoy yourself and watch football. I mean, it's the best month of the year. Stop playing.
Yeah, speaking of football,
the
Sunday game was awesome.
We're not doing that. We're gonna lose our friendship. No, I'm just joking. I was mad. That was just a fluke. Like, we need to sell him on the high market.
We got it was an awesome game though.
And I missed a lot of it because I thought I was watching the game. I was watching I don't know what I was watching. I was on the way back home from Myrtle Beach, from a retreat, and I had the game. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm listening. I got my mama watching. I ain't even watching the game. I don't know what. I was on DirecTV watching the recording. I guess I recorded it, said recorded, and it was playing it for me. I don't know. But we lost, and we just lost. But anyway, it's still a great month. It
is. Lots of great people.
But we have been graced with the presence of a new author.
Yay.
Thank you.
She has many skills because she was my caterer.
Wow.
I looked on her page and I'm like, wait a minute, she just wrote a book. And very interesting. I have not read it, but I will read it.
Yes.
But when the synopsis catch your attention.
Right. That's very interesting, huh?
Very, very interesting. So we're going to go ahead and get started because I know you got a lot going on, and it's also Thanksgiving coming up, and we don't want to keep people online a long time, but I thought that this was a great opportunity to talk about this book.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. This is author Chariese McCoy Hall. She is a dynamic author, advocate, and entrepreneur in Savannah, Georgia. As a devoted wife and mother, Chareise juggles her roles with grace while running a successful catering business. Her powerful book is a testament to her resilience, sharing her personal experiences with rejection, gang rape, and cancer survival. Through her writing, Shanice aims to shed light on harsh realities, offering hope and strength to others facing similar challenges. Her journey of overcoming adversity inspires readers to find their own path to freedom and empowerment. And the name of the book is Nothing But the Truth. I love it.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome, welcome. So, as an author, I'm an author myself.
Yes.
When you're getting ready to write a book, sometimes, like I'll say in the last book that I co-authored, I was writing about my life. In my first book, where I wrote myself, just by myself, I was writing about financial coaching.
Right.
But when I wrote about my personal life, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
God, I want to put all this in the book.
Exactly.
I'm talking about heartbreak and how, stuff with my daughter and her father. And I was just like, you know, some
Yeah.
people know this stuff. How far should I go? But I just
Exactly.
went all in. I went all in and I said, you know what? It's my life. I'm telling the story and hopefully it will inspire others. And it actually did. So,
Exactly.
and I said that to say when you sit down to write a book, you sometimes second guess yourself.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
did you have any of that going on when you were thinking about writing it?
Of course. First of all, this book is like it was supposed to be written in 22 years ago.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Yes, 22 years ago when I was the age of 28. But at that time, mentally, emotionally, I wasn't ready. So
Mhm.
I knew if I wrote the book, then I wasn't strong enough to like handle or talk about the chapters in the book.
Mhm.
So fast forward, I'm 51 years old and I just wrote that book.
I was about to say, I'm adding 28 and 22. You a what
And
now?
Yes,
you're not adding.
I'll be 52 next
I'm
month.
like, you
Look
are
good, girl.
kidding.
Let
Yes.
that
Oh
crack.
my goodness.
It don't crack. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
We're all the
So,
same age.
yeah.
That is crazy.
So what made you want to do it now?
Well, to be honest with you, Miss Felicia, I just really like at the age of 28, I began to live. So
Okay.
taking all of those turmoils, all those experiences, all the trauma and all those things, I carried it from the age of 14, 15 to 28.
Wow.
And then at 28, I had this like wake up moment. It's like, okay, you're 28. It's time for you to kind of live a little bit. You've been through so much, and I carried that the whole time. So
Mm.
it was hard for me.
So talk about the experiences with rejection. And a lot of us deal with rejection and we don't always know how to handle it. Talk to us about your specific experiences with rejection and how you were able to overcome.
Well, for me, like growing up in my household, it was my sister and myself. So I'm 9 years older than my sister. Um, so it felt like for me at the time, I grew up really fast. So growing up really fast and again with the trauma and all the turmoil that I had, it just felt like I wasted a lot of years and I felt rejected because once again I felt like I had to grow up fast. So I missed all of the nurturing, all of those things. And by the time, here I am, 9 years old, and my sister is being born. And when she's nine, I'm 18. So
Wow.
it's like, what do you do? And I just felt like the attention that I felt like I needed or I needed to have at that time, I didn't get it.
Got it. Um,
So in your book you talk about well, you talk about a couple things,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
you are a cancer survivor.
Yes.
mhm.
So just give you a little insight on that. I think it was I was 15. So summertime, 15 years old, got my summer job working, and it was at a Burger King here in Savannah. So what happened was my duty for that afternoon was for me to clean the dining room and bring in the trays from the dining room into the kitchen. I didn't make it quite into the kitchen because of the swinging doors. So I had a handful of trays and I backed into it. When I backed into the door with the trays in my hands, the door caught me and it hit me on my right arm. Well, I woke up, I was at the hospital.
Wow.
It was just that painful, just that powerful. It knocked me out. So I didn't know what happened after that. Tests were ran. They saw growth on my arm. And I guess because of the door hitting the arm, it kind of aggravated it. So at the time, Savannah wasn't equipped to take care of what they saw. Moving forward, they offered my mom and my dad at the time two options. We had to go to either Duke University or Emory in Atlanta. So my parents decided for me to go to Atlanta. We went there. The biopsy was done. Came back a couple of weeks. It was malignant. So I had a type of cancer that was called osteosarcoma. It was a type of tumor that grows on the bone. And most of the time, adolescents get it. And the sad part about it, they have to amputate. So,
Wow.
yeah, so with me, I'm blessed. I did 36 weeks of chemotherapy to shrink that tumor, 7 different surgeries, bone removals from my leg, from my pelvis, just reconstructed my arm with a steel rod in the bones. And here I
Wow.
am today.
Wow. Praise God.
Yes, ma'am.
That
Wow.
is wow. How did that, you know, 15 years old, 15, 16 years old?
Yes, I was 15 when I was
15.
diagnosed. I had my first chemo treatment on my 16th birthday.
Wow. I know there had to be some depression and kind of like
Oh,
yeah, during
yes,
that
it was
time.
very depressing, like very depressing, because before the diagnosis of the cancer, before that, the gang rape occurred.
Mm.
So I'm dealing with that. And then a couple of months after that, I'm diagnosed
Happened
with
15?
yes.
Oh wow.
Oh my God. So like, my God,
Yes.
you are a living testimony.
I
Yes,
am.
you are.
So how did you and I hate to
No,
bring
ma'am. I'm an open book and it's fine.
okay.
Yes.
How at 15, how did that how did that happen to you? Were you like
For
by someone
me,
you knew or
it was my ninth grade year, my first year in high school. And
Mhm.
of course, excuse me, you're meeting people, you're getting introduced to different people. I had just made the band. I made the flag team. So I'm sitting there practicing and everything. So yeah.
We were flag girls. We were flag girls.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow. So yeah, so I'm practicing and everything. And to be honest, I got introduced to this guy. He was in several of my classes then. Thought he was a good friend. So this one particular day, me and my friend, we were walking home. So our high school at the time was a few blocks. So everybody like just walked. So this guy introduced us to. I mean, he invited us to his house. He said we're just gonna chill, eat some chips, watch television or whatever. He seemed to be a nice fella. Um, my friend at the time, she had to leave to go pick up her brother. And
Hmm.
she told me that she would come back for me. So I said, okay. At the time, it was just me and this guy there. Nothing happened. He tried nothing. He was very nice. In pops his brother and another guy. And his brother was really the culprit. Like he pushed the issue. He just, he just made them do whatever he told them to do. And they did that.
How old was the brother? And is he good charged or in jail or anything?
No. And they were maybe like 17, 16, 17 years old. But I will tell you, like my upbringing, I came from a strict home. Like, certain things we just didn't talk about, and conversations you just didn't have and things like that. And because my dad was such a disciplinary, it was hard for me to come home and say, this happened to me, or I
Mm.
had this kind of issue. So I had to deal with it. I was ashamed. I never told my mom. I never told my dad until I was 28. And I did it through a
Oh
letter.
wow.
I
Oh
did it through a
wow.
letter.
Did you have to see the little boy at school?
Yes, it was horrible. I mean,
Oh,
after that episode, that incident, I went back to school, and I'm not sure if pictures were taken of me, but I was told pictures was taken of me and they were circulating around the school. So then I got labeled, all the bad names, and it happened that time. And I want to say about 3 weeks later, walking home from practice, because like I said, it was a long way from the high school to my home. The same guy rode up on a bicycle and made me follow him. And frightened and afraid and everything, I wind up in another house, and it happened to me again.
oh
Mm.
my God! And you still didn't feel you didn't feel like you could talk to anybody at school or anything?
I,
Nobody?
I told my friend the first time it happened, the friend that I went to the home with, she
Mhm.
took me, she took her aunt advised her to take me somewhere to get myself, checked out and everything like that. They knew about it, but you know, at the time, I just don't know, me personally, I was petrified to say anything to anybody else.
So
So
did
Oh
you
I
go
just
wow.
get
buried it.
checked out?
I did, and I was fine.
Because I think that I thought that there it's mandatory that they tell somebody about something like
No,
that.
I just went there. I went to this particular clinic here in Savannah, and only thing they did was gave me contraceptives and everything like that and sent me on my way.
No, they
Contraceptive.
failed you. They failed you miserably because
Yeah,
if you had told them what happened,
yeah,
that's mandatory reporting for your age.
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
But it didn't happen.
Oh my God. Whew.
So was it hard for you to trust guys? Like how were you able to build a positive relationship with your husband after that? Because I would have a hard time trusting
Right.
guys.
So after the cancer diagnosis, Miss Ray, I got involved with a young man. Um, this person, well, if you read the book, you will know that this person was like living, that fast life or whatever, and he started to be like violent toward me,
Mm.
fighting everything. I wind up pregnant. So here
Mm.
I am, just after a gang rape, a cancer diagnosis, I'm graduating pregnant. Um,
Mm.
that didn't work out. I moved on. I had two more children, so I have three children now. Um, the second father was no assistant to the first child. He told me flat out, I'm not going to discipline a child that's not mine. So
Mhm.
here I am, a young mother, trying to raise three children on my own, doing the best that I can, and it's not working for me. But I will tell you this, I always knew that I was different. So for me, once again, living in a household, being brought up in the church, those are things that you don't talk about.
Mhm.
You don't express yourself to the point to say like, hey mom, hey dad, this is what
Mhm.
I'm feeling. You don't do that. So for me, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, all of those
Mhm.
things crossed my mind because I had no outlet at the
Mhm.
time.
Right.
So for me, with guys, I tried it, but that's just not where I was. And I can truly say, people say that with the alternative lifestyle, that's a choice. But
Mhm.
honestly, for me, I tried that and it was only to make others happy. And I was actually killing myself
Wow.
because I was doing and living for somebody else to make them happy so that they would look
Mhm.
at me and be satisfied with who I am. And all the while, I'm not happy with myself.
Right.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Just you was just dealing with everything inside
Yes.
and getting no help at all.
Right.
So
Right.
did you ever get any therapy?
I went to therapy. I did. I took it upon myself to do so.
At what age?
I was about 49, 48, 49.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
And when I did that first session, my therapist allowed me to, when I say destroy her office, it was just so much. When I stopped swinging the pillows and everything, her office was a wreck. That's just how much weight I had to release at that time.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can
That
imagine.
day, I just decided to live for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean,
So how did you?
you would never know that because
No.
just my little bit of time with you, I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, she's so sweet, so considerate, so kind.
Right.
You
And
would
it's
never.
always been me. Even to this day, if I'm having a bad day, you will never know.
Mhm.
That's just how much I masked everything and kept it bottled up. And I mean, for me, it was my attitude. I didn't trust anybody, whether it was
Mhm.
male or female. I always found fault in people. And I think it was just me because I had so much trauma and so much
Yeah.
turmoil. I didn't have time to think about nothing. I just thought everything and everyone was bad.
Right. And then on top of that, being a young mother, so you
Yes,
couldn't,
right.
it was no time to
No,
work on yourself or heal or, you
nothing.
know.
And you were still in the presence of the same people. I
Mhm.
don't know how you handled that.
Yeah,
I
Without going off.
with
right.
them in the classroom. I,
Yeah,
I don't not.
just
Mm,
petrified because the person that actually initiated those assaults, and I just thank God every day because this person is in prison now for unaliving someone for
mhm.
the same thing. So I look back, it could have been me because I was threatened with my life. And I think that's the reason why I was so tight-lipped about it because of that.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I
it's
can
so
imagine.
glad that he's in prison. Is his brother still around?
I haven't seen the three people in years, like really in years. And I ran up on one of them, one event that I was catering to. And when I locked eyes with him, I don't know where he went. I don't know if he went up or down. I didn't see him anymore.
Mm.
Wow. I bet that was interesting. How did
Yes.
you get to the point where you opened yourself up to your current husband?
Well, it's a woman. So,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. So,
I'm
it,
sorry.
no, you're fine. It was like I told her everything. And when I told her everything, she was the first person that really like listened and
Hmm.
understood. And
Mhm.
the first person that I could sit down and talk to for hours and hours and hours
Hmm.
without being judgmental of me or saying, well, you should have did this or you should have did that. It
Hmm.
was a situation where I had no choice. You know, I just did not. I didn't know what else to do.
Hmm.
So and that I mean, and she pushed me at the beginning. She said, "You need to write this book." But I was
Hmm.
28 again, still torn up, everything. Just couldn't get it, wrap my head around everything to put it on paper. And even
Hmm.
during the process of writing this book, I mean, I broke down completely.
Hmm. Hmm. That was your healing. I'm
Yeah,
sure you did a lot of healing
Sounds
while
like.
writing.
yeah.
So what happened when you finally told your parents in the letter?
Ugh. It's in the book. I wrote the letter. I
Once you
mean,
tell everything that's in the book,
no,
we
no,
want y'all to go buy the book.
no, no,
Definitely
no.
valuable.
Yes. All right. I wrote the letter, I mailed it off. And that hurt me too because I didn't get a response.
Hmm.
I didn't,
Mm.
Probably
you
didn't
know,
know how to
That's a
respond.
book.
And and that's probably what it was. It was probably a shock to them. But even down the line, I was actually looking for maybe a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or just to tell me, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I didn't
So
get
so it just re-triggered those feelings of rejection that you always felt. Like
exactly,
I'm not important.
exactly.
Look, I'm the therapist. Forgive me. So
No,
that's
you're
my
fine.
mind
She's a
thing.
licensed therapist.
You're fine.
Yeah, it just goes back to the rejection and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, I'm
And
sorry
I
to hear
totally
that.
understand what you're talking about being raised in the church. Because Red can tell you, I was raised in the church. I couldn't do much of nothing, and to
Right.
Mm-hmm.
tell my mom anything about like just talking about stuff, that just didn't
Yes.
happen. It just
Right.
Right.
And
didn't happen.
and now that I'm older, and I have children of my own, I try to be a little bit more open and transparent to let them know, there's issues, if there's concerns,
Mm-hmm.
you're always welcome to talk to me. If you're not able to talk to me, then write me a letter. Because a lot
Right.
of times during my upbringing, I wrote on my wall in my closet.
Wow.
Like when I had things going on with me, I would go in the closet and write on the wall of the closet.
So what inspired the title of the book, Nothing But the Truth? I mean, it's obvious, but
Yes.
what was, the inspiration for that title?
When I was asked, what title did I want to use for the book, it took me about maybe 5 minutes, and
Wow.
because of the titles that are in the book, it's nothing but the truth.
Wow.
It's nothing but.
I love it. Your truth.
Yes,
All right.
my
That's
truth.
right. That's your
For some
truth.
of our guests who are just entering today, we are talking to author Chariese McCoy Hall. She
Hmm.
wrote a book called Nothing But the Truth. And in the book, she's talking about the traumatic events that happened in her life. That is the cover of the book. She's talking about her feeling of rejection, her cancer diagnosis at a young age, and she's also talking about being gang raped at a young age twice and
Mm.
not knowing how or what to do. And she kept it all in um, until the age of 49, really, when she was able to
Wow.
talk to somebody and really get it out. And your book, is it on Amazon?
Yes, ma'am. It will be available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles.
When?
So it's not available yet.
I think in like Monday or so, I was
Okay.
told.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we will make sure that we get the link online, and I will be at your book signing. You have a book
This
signing.
Saturday? Yes, ma'am. Look
Okay.
forward to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, nice,
I'll
nice.
be there. So now that you had the opportunity to not only write the book, but you've gone through some counseling, you have somebody with you now that you can talk to when you're going through things. Are you still feeling that emotional rejection or that feeling that you have? Because I know sometimes it doesn't matter who you have around you, sometimes those thoughts come back. Are
Right.
you better able to deal with those now?
Yes, I do have certain things that triggers, um, but I'm able to handle it now, and my emotions are a lot more calmer. At one point it was so much anger. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
I had so
Mm-hmm.
much anger build up. And when you have anger, I mean, that's a horrible feeling because for me, I just, I rather had not been here than to carry that with me. But
Mm-hmm.
now I'm able to just, I stay prayed up. I always
Yes.
tell people, don't look at me as a person, look at my heart, because that's the only thing that kept me here.
Mm-hmm.
My character, that's who I am.
Mhm. God is
Nice.
God. I can say God is good.
Yes,
All the time.
God is
yes,
good, plain
yes,
and simple. And
All the time.
that's all you have to say.
that's it.
So what
So
would you like the readers to get from this book, from your book, Nothing But the Truth?
For
What do
me,
you mhm.
I really want anyone to have who reads this book, because you never know who you may touch. It's so many
Mhm.
people that have secrets or have things that they're holding on to, and they feel like they're alone. Because I was one of those people. I felt like I went through that, nobody else went through that. Who can I talk to? And some people are embarrassed. Some people I was at one point, but now for me, I have to, expose this for people to be better, because it's so many people. I'm 51. There's so many people holding on to those things, and they can't live,
Mhm.
and they're living for someone else, or
Mhm.
Right.
validation for someone from someone else.
Did
You
this book cause
definitely
any strife?
help somebody. You can help
Yeah,
somebody.
definitely. Did this book cause any strife with your parents?
No, I really think for my dad, because he was ill, but he was aware that the book was written. I did get a chance to express to him that I wrote a book, and and that's how that went. Uh-oh, excuse me, ladies, I'm gonna have to plug up really quick. I'm sorry.
No problem,
Okay.
no problem. And she was talking about her dad, and I noticed today, I saw it, but I had a lot of things going on, and amongst everything else that you just heard me say about
Right.
this young lady, her dad passed. And
Wow. And
the way she mentioned it online, she and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but
No,
I saw when you wrote, I did everything I promised to do.
and I did.
mm,
Yep.
Thank
Because
you.
for me, it's been a year and a few months now. I took on the responsibility of taking care of my dad. Um, I kind of feel like with that, it caused me to lose my job. I'm just being honest and transparent. I had to take the responsibilities, and, you know, things happen, but I promised my dad that he would live his last days at home.
Oh wow. Okay.
wow.
So that's what I did. I have over 30 years in the medical field, so I knew what to do. I knew when to do what to make sure that he was comfortable. And when he left peaceful, and he left the way he wanted to leave.
Wow.
Well, that says a lot about who you are.
Yes.
Just
Exactly.
I mean, I can already feel your spirit, but that says a lot. You went through all of this. You're struggling with what you got going on, and
Yes.
you took on somebody else, your father, who you already had, things dealing with things,
Yes.
and you were able to be there for him until his last days. That's beautiful. That is
Yes.
absolutely beautiful. This
Hmm.
person, Gwendolyn Glover, wrote, "Thank you for sharing your life. I too experienced growing up as you did, and it's not life affirming, especially for female children. I'm happy you survived and that your life may be a bright light to show the way for others who suffered like you. Thank you so much."
You're very welcome. You're
That
very
is
welcome.
that is for people who might be listening, we'll definitely replay this. But for people who might be listening, what what would you tell a young girl at your age to do at this point?
At this point, if you're struggling, no matter what it is, if you're struggling, you seek help. Whether it's, if you're still in school, talk to your counselor, talk to a teacher. You know, if you can talk to your parents, talk to your parents. If you can't talk to your parents, write them a letter. But you need to get it off of you, because if you don't get it off of you, it's going to wear on you, and eventually it's going to eat you up. It's going to deteriorate your whole life, like everything. Everything's going to pass you by, because you're going to be in a shell, and you're not going to be able to explore life, because you're thinking and you're holding on to things that there's help for.
Absolutely. And I could say the same thing as a therapist to some of my clients and patients, but to hear it come out of your mouth is just
Yes.
fantastic because it's coming from someone who actually experienced that. So that
Right.
anger and that pain and that hurt, I
Yes.
always say it's more space out here in the world than it is inside you.
Right.
So get
And
it out.
Yes.
what would you tell parents Like that's the most important thing. What would you tell
Mhm.
parents like that like my parents and your parents that was strict?
We still see you.
You still here? Oh,
Uh-oh.
there she is. We'll give her a minute, but um her story, just reading the summary of her book, I was like,
Yes.
we have to talk to her because, even now more so than back then when we were younger, you used to see the kids on the milk carton, people had
Mhm.
snatched them or whatever. But now there's a lot of sex trafficking going on with these girl
Mhm.
kids and
Mhm.
like down here, they had one girl. They saw her in the store, like in a gas station, travel mart, some type like that,
Mhm.
and she looked scared. But the lady said she looked at her, but she wouldn't say anything to her, and she
Mm.
was had let her go in the bathroom. And when she was in the bathroom, the lady followed her in the bathroom because people, we're real
Mhm.
skeptical now when we see
Mhm.
kids, like maybe a black kid with a white man, and the child is looking you're looking like, okay, what's going on? Should I
Yeah.
ask the question? She followed the girl in the bathroom, girl wouldn't say anything. So it wasn't like she could do anything. Like she couldn't snatch her and run, but she said
Mhm.
the girl looked really, really scared. And then she seen on the news that the girl had been kidnapped. And
Oh
she said,
wow.
one moment to do or say something she said she felt like she should have done. She said the next time she just gonna snatch the kid and run. And I was like, that might not be a good idea, but I
Mm-mm.
would call 911 and kind
Yeah.
of look at their license plate or something like that. But a lot of that's going on right now.
Mhm.
And what happens to a kid after, like, just say they're rescued and they come back home,
Traumatized.
like traumatized.
Lots of years and years
He's
of therapy.
bro.
Need support. Right now they have on the bathroom stalls, you close the stall in Wawa somewhere, and they have, if you're a victim of sex trafficking in the airports, they have it on the bathroom, inside the bathroom stall, so you can get help if you're feeling that way, if you
But
have been,
some are scared. They're too
oh
scared
yeah, definitely.
to do anything to help themselves.
Well, that's because they threaten them. I'm gonna kill your whole family if you tell. So you got a kid. That's exactly what they're gonna do. But just to respect, and that person that did that to her, he definitely has some antisocial personality. Just a lot going on. You to be that cruel to do something like that to somebody is
Yeah.
it's crazy. Hey, welcome back.
Yes, I apologize. My
Oh, you
computer
good?
kind of died.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're
Okay.
fine. We
Okay.
were just talking about just in general now with kids being um sex trafficked, different
Yes.
things like that. And I was saying, what would you tell a parent at this point or an adult to listen? Like, what
Yeah.
would you tell somebody as being that child? What would you want to have your parents have done, or aunt
Hmm.
or somebody at school?
Well, this generation now, I'm very like observative. So for me, and I can only speak for me, like parents, you cannot be these children's friends, because if you get that comfortable with them, you're going to ignore all the signs because you're their friend,
Mm,
and a lot of things could be avoided if you had a type of relationship, not to like, I wouldn't say instill fear in them, but to be open and transparent with them, to let them know, like, this is life. I've been through these certain things. I'm
Hmm.
telling you for your good. Give them some aha moments
mm,
versus, just laughing and partying with them, and, having them in adult conversations. Like, I can truly say my parents, they raised me well, very
Hmm.
manageable. It was just the communication that we were lacking. And what I feel like at this point, maybe that was something that they didn't have now that I'm
Hmm.
older.
mm,
So I don't hold it against them, but I took what I went through and I instilled it in my kids. Now, no, you can tell and you can do and you can say everything right to these kids, but if their mindset is what they want to do,
Yeah.
they're going to take everything in and they're still going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But at least you can say that you did right by your kids.
Right.
You were open, you were there for them. And that's how I am with my children. My kids never, they can never say they saw me even sip a glass of wine, because that's just
Oh
how much
wow.
respect I had for my children when they were growing up. So
Mhm.
now that
Right.
they're older, and I wrote this book, they're like, wow, ma, we didn't even know this. Like my oldest
Mm.
son, we had the conversation. He bought the book and he read it and he was like, I never knew that about you. You carried that so well. Because I just felt like, you know, my trauma, all of my experiences, I shouldn't reflect that off to my children. You
Wow.
Mhm.
know, so
Mhm.
and that's why it was a mess. They never saw me. I'm not saying that I was perfect, and but they never saw anything that my kids would be disrespected by their mom. I never
Wow.
disrespected my children.
That's
So that's
good.
what
Nice.
I'm saying to these parents. These days you can't, incorporate parenthood with friendship,
Mhm.
because if you do that, you're losing respect for your children. They're not
Mhm.
going to look at you as a parent.
Right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
And that's where the all the trouble really enters into the families, because you didn't pay attention to your child and you allowed things that shouldn't have been brought into the home, and the child is taking what they see, what they heard, and the neglect from the communication from the parent outside,
Mhm.
and they're looking for it from somebody else.
You're
Wow.
absolutely right.
That's good stuff. You're absolutely right.
So tell us about your book signing.
Well, my book signing will be this Saturday at the Y Bar, and it will be from 5 to 9. There will be some hors d'oeuvres there. Of course, there will be me there. There will be some books there. I would love to meet people. I'm open. If anybody wants to talk to me, if anybody's going through anything, I'm an open ear. I may be able to help. Kind of ease some of your grief and some of your pain,
Mhm.
because my last job, that's really what I did. Even though it was with the elders, I would just have people come into my office and talk to me and tell me their problems, or call me and
Okay.
tell me their problems, because they just told me that I had a sweet spirit, and that's what they
Mhm.
felt comfortable doing. So for me, I don't mind. I'm here to help people, because at the time when I needed help, I didn't have it. So I
Right.
know what it's like to not have someone to talk to, and you have to go through things and you feel like you're by yourself. And even if you can't talk to, a parent or somebody, just look me up on Facebook, send me a message. I'll be glad to just listen.
You thought about maybe creating a Facebook group?
Yes, ma'am, I have. I've been thinking about that. I'm gonna also start a book club, because I think my book is so in depth that something in either one of those 5 chapters would would touch someone. Somebody can relate to something, because it's everyday life. I mean, these are not things that are made up. These are things that happen in real life, and people are struggling. And I think,
Yeah.
like, mental health and, depression and anxiety, people are really wanting to leave here because they can't handle it and they don't have an outlet. You can't just give somebody a pill and tell them to take this pill and it's going to make it go away. It's just
Mhm.
going to mask what they're really holding inside.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
I definitely agree with that. Well, we definitely are going to support you. We'll take your link and
Yes.
put
Thank
it on
you.
the page for whoever wants to purchase the book. So if you'll send us the link, we'll be more than happy to put it on the page.
I
And
will.
I plan on being there Saturday to
Great.
support you. And Red will be there in spirit.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, definitely want to support you, and we hope that your book does everything you want it to, meets all your goals and wishes.
Thank you so much, Miss
Absolutely.
Felicia. Thank you.
No
Now
problem.
look, one thing, we the same age. You done called us ma'am and miss the
And
whole
that
time.
That's
listen,
disrespect.
I
listen, Miss
know it's
Red. I'm
disrespect.
sorry. Everybody tells me that
Miss
because
Red.
I that's just how I was raised. It's a Southern girl thing, and I try my hardest. Some people said, "You are the same age as I am, and you're calling me ma'am." That's just a habit. And if you were to meet my mom, she will do the same thing. So I don't know if it just rubbed off on me, but I try so hard.
You're fine. You fine.
I'm just teasing you.
I know.
Well, give us your Facebook, Instagram before we wrap up so we can follow you.
Okay, so my Instagram is Beauty and Brains is 72. My
Okay.
Facebook is author Chariese McCoy Hall.
Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Well, guys, listen. This author, we're gonna have a series of authors in the new year, but we started with this one, and she has a definitely has a story to tell. Her book caught my like I was telling you guys earlier. I hired her as the caterer for one of my events, and I looked on her page. I'm like, let me just check her out and see what else she's doing. And I looked.
Mhm.
I was like, she has written a book, and I read her. So she sent me her synopsis, because when I first talked to her, I said, I see you wrote a book. Would you like to be on our podcast? And she was like, sure. I was like, okay, well, send me your synopsis and, let me check it out. And I was like, what? What?
Mm-mm.
I'm like, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about this because um, she has definitely overcome. I'm telling you, I would never have known any of this by just my dealings with you. Sometimes you can tell when somebody has went through something because their personality is a little hard, a little
Yeah,
something. I
Mhm.
never know. So
right.
I appreciate you for writing
Yeah.
this book because
Thank
it
you.
will help a lot of people. Like,
Right. And what you see is what you get. Like honestly, like I said, you know, it's not fair to someone else for me to push off what I've been through on them. So I
Mhm.
can't walk around with an attitude or with, hurt or anger on me and and I push it off on you. That's not fair to you. That's
mm,
something
Right.
that me as a person have to I have to deal with that, and I did that, and I like I said I worked on me, and I'm to a point now to where I'm very happy. I'm comfortable with myself. My mind is at ease. I can sleep. I don't cry. I don't have depression states. I'm not gonna lie. I do have triggers, but I believe in the word of prayer, and
mm,
that's what helps me. So when I feel that, or if I feel something that's triggered me, and it's gonna make me feel like I'm gonna go back and start thinking about the things that happened to me, I think about
Mhm.
where I am now. I had to go through those things in order for me to be able to sit here and talk to you all about it.
mhm.
Absolutely.
I agree. Well, listen, we're not gonna keep y'all all night tonight. We know you all have some preparations to make, some family
Yes.
people that's in the other room, ready to have some fun conversation or just watch TV
Yeah.
and sleep. But listen, I want to say thank you for everybody who wished me a very happy birthday. Y'all know I've been
You're
celebrating
welcome.
all month, and I'll continue to celebrate.
Right.
I want to say thank you. I was going through some things, dealing with some hurt and anger, and
Mm,
just with everything that's going on in the world today. And some people sent me some messages and just cheered me right on up. And
that's
I
right.
just want to say thank you because you just never know.
Right.
You don't always have to give somebody a physical gift. Sometimes just sending them a word or letting people know that I mean, the out people who said happy birthday to me and
Yeah.
sent me a little message was awesome. It did this old Southern girl's heart real, real good. So
Yes,
listen,
it did.
we will put Charise's link online on our page, and I'll share it on my personal page as well. Look, we gotta support our Black authors. We have
We do.
So when we put that link out there, I want y'all to flood that link to Amazon. Don't say they don't have any more books to give out right now. Because we need to support with this upcoming administration, we need to support our Black businesses and Black authors. We, and I'm gonna include myself in that, we need your help. So go out there and purchase, click on her link and purchase her book when it is available for you. Anything else?
Absolutely. No, that's it. We want to just wish it. We want to thank you again. We
You're
send our
welcome.
condolences to
Thank
you,
you.
and it's just such a brave heart. It just shows again the type of woman that you are, the type of person that you are, to experience that tragedy the same day, but still honor your commitment to being on our show. We would have definitely understood,
Right.
but we thank you from the bottom of our hearts
You're
again.
very welcome.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy
Yay!
Thanksgiving.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Alrighty. Bye bye.
We are here to inspire.